Toronto, Ontario, the largest city in Canada with a population well over 2.6 million people. And with a population like that comes an abundance of options when it comes to bars, restaurants, clubs, and coffee shops. So many choices, so little time. What's Good takes you inside a number of the hottest joints in the Six, so whether you're a foodie looking for a trendy feast or just a weekend warrior looking for a great place to party, we're here to help you out. This is What's Good. Cherry Street Barbecue, located on the waterfront and Lower East Side of Toronto, is quickly becoming a destination for those seeking a welcoming atmosphere, delicious signature cocktails, and mouth-watering North American comfort food. I personally heard a ton of rave reviews about the new restaurant, but I wanted to go investigate the spot myself, meeting the staff and testing out the food and drinks firsthand, of course. I got the chance to speak with owner and fire starter Lawrence LaPianta and general manager Ronnie Lee about this new authentic pig smoked barbecue. It all started when Lawrence took some time off of his career in commercial film production. Lawrence started hitting up a handful of different barbecue joints across North America, becoming inspired and wanting to perfect recipes and start his own spot right here in Toronto.
I fell in love with barbecue probably about 15 years ago. About 10 years ago, I got really serious about it. And then I actually, started finding places to train. Went down to Austin, San Antonio, San Marcos a bunch of times, took random classes with guys in the back of pit manufacturers, and we just cooked there all weekend. And I just got totally caught up in it. I just loved it. And then I finally had a trip made my way down to Franklin's Barbecue in Austin, Texas, like 7 years ago. Tasted the brisket, and I'm like, I know, man, I'm gonna stay up all night just trying to figure out how to make this stuff. It's amazing.
When people are pursuing their passions, I find it's always important to learn more about the hurdles they might have faced in order to make their dreams reality. Once the Cherry Street idea popped into Lawrence's head, the clock was on, and nothing was gonna stand in his way from opening this spot in very little time.
When I first said I was gonna do this, talked to a bunch of restaurant friends, because now I have a bunch of friends in the restaurant community, and they're like, I gave myself a 3-week timeline. They're like, you can't open a restaurant in 3 weeks. And I'm like, you don't know where I come from. 3 weeks where I came from was 3 months. And that's film production. That's commercial world. A script comes in Wednesday. We shoot it next Tuesday. I've done over 850 commercials. Every single one got made. This for me was a big commercial.
As soon as Lawrence started filling me in on the smoking process, I could tell this guy had it down to a science and had a true passion for doing what he does.
A lot of people don't like cooking on a reverse flow cooker because they always talk about an offset. So usually in a traditional offset that is not a reverse flow, you have your firebox here, and then you can look inside and you'll be able to see where the fire would be. In this case, it's not, it's a reverse flow. I got a metal baffle plate that runs 3/4 of the distance of the cooker. So the smoke and the heat roll along the bottom of the steel and then enter the chamber and come back across. And then they leave. You can always tell a reverse flow from a regular. Yeah. A regular offset, the stack's over here. Heat, smoke comes in, leaves. Okay. This one, heat and smoke come along the metal plate, then they wrap back around and they come back through the chamber and then they leave the stack. And that's how you can always tell what someone's cooking on. Because we cook on just wood and it's a live fire, because someone has to be here all the time and paying so much attention, I think it kind of makes its way into the product as well. Right. Because you're caring so much about the fire, you're constantly, I'm telling these guys, constantly keep checking to make sure things are good. I mean, I can be sitting inside doing some paperwork and I'll look outside and I'll call them on a cell phone and say, fix the fire. Yeah. I mean, I can tell by the smoke that's leaving the stack what's going on.
Though it may not be located right in the downtown core, a bit of a trek for some Torontonians, Lawrence and Ronnie believe Cherry Street provides the food, drinks, and the experience that will have customers coming back out here for more. A fan of a handful of different drinks myself, I find it can be tough to pick just one when I'm out at my favorite spots. Ronnie let me in on the story behind a couple of Cherry Street's signature cocktails, both memorable and they come at an affordable price.
So basically the Cherry Bourbon Root Beer float came about one night. I was standing around with my bartender Jeremy and I was thinking to myself, I was like, I really want to execute a root beer float with this wonderful craft non-alcoholic root beer we have from Ottawa, but I couldn't figure out how I was going to get ice cream to hold behind the bar. So I started taking a look around. It's about 2:44 in the morning, and I said to myself, maybe we could whip something up using stuff we have. So sure enough, I took some of the cherry syrup that we have from our bourbon cherries, used a little bit of the coconut milk that I had from a colada type drink that we were doing, and then Maker's Mark, and gave it a shake, floated it on top of a little bit of root beer and gave it a taste, and there you have it, man. When you have Lawrence setting the bar so high with the food, you kind of got to come back with cocktails that are at the same level. You know, as long as you have good quality ingredients, you can make it work.
There was one last thing I had to find out about. When you come into Cherry Street, you see the phrase "Be Good People" on the back of the staff shirt and painted on the walls as well. I had to ask Lawrence where this came from.
I mean, essentially it came from spending a lot of time in the South at competitions and whatnot. And when you're there with your friends, you're hanging out, and someone says, "Hey, I'm going to introduce you to this guy. He's good people." It's done. He's just, you know, if it's, "Hey, I want you to meet somebody. This is Joe and Joe from Connecticut. They're here to talk to you about this." You just know, it's just kind of straightforward, kind of like, I'm going to get to know you. But when someone introduced you and said, "They're good people," family.
Though Cherry Street Barbecue has only been around here for a few months, people are really starting to talk. And after my experience here, I'm positive the talk is well warranted. Next time you're looking for a great dish and a few savory drinks, head out to Cherry Street Barbecue to get your fill. This has been What's Good.